in olden days, when the now crumbling walls of their forts were useful. We are about to enter what was a part of the capital of old Georgia and the cradle of their culture. For the Georgians, it has the deepest significance. And there are still remains a group of extremely interesting buildings. One temple contains the tombs of the Georgian kings of the 5th and 6th centuries. But today, all that is left of this once glorious city are a few buildings used by the nuns as a cloister of study and for a home. But they welcome the passerby and freely offer him their limited hospitality. Mitchell is claimed by its citizens to have been founded by one of Noah's sons, who strolled over from Mount Ararat one day after the water subsided and chose this site because of its extreme height. And as we again get into our automobiles and continue our journey, we look back at the forbidding walls and their plain parapets, and we dream of the 14 centuries of history that they have been looking down upon. From an altitude of 2,400 feet on Mount David, we shall have a splendid view of the capital of Georgia. Tiflis, the metropolis of the Eurasian borderland, is noted for its hot sulfur springs. As a matter of fact, the word Tiflis is derived from the ancient Georgian word Tbilisi, which means warm springs. Like most Near Eastern cities, Tiflis is divided into two parts, the ancient and the modern. The people form cosmopolitan crowds. Georgians, Persians, Jews, Armenians, Turks, and Tatars, and the mountain tribesmen, all giving the impression of the bold, free life of old Georgia. We find several floating water wheels. Because of the tremendous rise of the water level caused by the spring melting of the mountain snows, the whole power plant is allowed to go up and down with the water while the current turns the wheels. Here, flour is made in the very old-fashioned way. Side by side with the ancient buildings, we find surprisingly modern structures. In the new Tiflis, there are straight, wide boulevards, graceful public buildings, theaters, museums, and huge industrial plants. Here, under the new regime, we find unceasing activity. The street scene in Tiflis is an ever-changing panorama. Every mode of transportation is used, from the water buffaloes and the donkeys to the modern streetcars and automobiles. The marketplace is indeed colorful. Here over 80 languages are spoken, and the vendors offer the rugs of Persia, the laces of Armenia, and the hammered brass handicrafts of the Orient. Directly above Tiflis rises Mount David. Here is located the famous pleasure resort, which we reach by means of a cable car that carries us up over 2,000 feet. Here is the cable car. In this resort, we see Russia really at play. Men, women, and children join in the fun. Here, just as in all the rest of Russia, the dance is a favorite form of amusement. And what a contrast between the graceful dance of this little lady and the dance we watched performed by the mountaineers. In this section, the music is very meaningful. The history of the Near East is written in their folklore and in their song. Here on the mountainside, family gatherings are to be found everywhere, enjoying themselves under blue halcyon skies. And at sunset, when the lights of the far-flung town gleam through the blue dusk, from that vantage point, there is a view that once seen lingers long in the memory. But we leave the people of Tiflis at play as we make our way to Baku, the city of oil, located on the western shore of the Caspian Sea. It is the largest port of the Caspian. Baku is a city of contrast. Like Tiflis, it consists of the old city and the new. The modern Baku has grown at a startling speed. But the old remains the same. It has crooked, winding cobblestone streets, dingy, flat-roofed houses with jutting balconies, turbaned street vendors in colorful costumes, and little shops redolent with the perfume of the East. The new Baku owes its rapid growth to the development of the oil fields. Here we find a veritable forest of oil wells. When American methods were introduced, Baku became the third largest oil field in the world. Already there are 2,000 wells in operation, and the drilling of others goes on at an ever-increasing speed. Oil is pumped through pipelines from Baku completely across the Transcaucasia to Batum on the Black Sea, a distance of over 600 miles. The road to Batum leads us through the town of Kutaisi, and here again we find characters of the countryside on their way to market, carrying their strange wares. The market brings together the many types that make up this borderland country. On the other side of this huge range of mountains, we find an entirely different country. In the western Caucasus, we find the largest of the great community farms. These huge enterprises are made possible through the use of modern American equipment. Tractors pulling multiple plows and discs and harrows make the soil ready for planting. When the women in Russia were emancipated, they took upon themselves their responsibilities. You will find them shoulder to shoulder with the men, developing the new Russia. Acre after acre is cultivated. Men handle the modern machinery, and women do their share in the fields. Mature wheat is cut and threshed right in the field where it grows. The bags of grain are then carted to the civic center, and from there, shipped to all parts of the world. Lunchtime finds the small groups hungry and thirsty. Although they have worked hard, they are replenished with wholesome food, after which the native stories and songs give them new energy to complete the day. Often we see entire families on the road. Mama drives, Papa pushes, and the children have a hayride. The countryside is alive with interesting sights. The people, their homes, and their livestock. But of all the colorful characters in Georgia, perhaps the best known and most talked of is the self-appointed guardian of the ruins of the temple of Bagrati. Here is a man who has come down with the ages. Like the temple itself, he stands for the traditions of old Georgia. These ruins date from the 11th century. This fortress and temple of Bagrat was built in 1002 by the Georgian Christians. It was destroyed by the Turks when the old man was cloistered here studying for the priesthood. He has made it his life's work to bring the story of the temple to every passerby. For to him, even though it be in ruins, this temple is still alive with memories.